he got comedy, like, we having beefs now.
Right.
Like, we need good comedy beef.
Exactly.
You know, rappers always having beef. No, we coming in with the beef, man. So
and forcing each other to step it up.
level it up. And that's how I look at it. I'm like, level up. You
Right.
know, if somebody's forcing you to level up, then take that challenge and do it.
Welcome to another episode of BET Talks. I'm your host, Mia Bell, and it is my pleasure to introduce the woman of the hour who harbors no hard feelings, okay? I'm talking mom, comedian, actress, entrepreneur, Torrei Hart. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Came in matching?
Yes.
I feel
Synergy on point.
I feel the energy.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to talk to you.
Me too.
First and foremost, congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
It is not overnight.
No.
You put in all the time.
Yes.
All the work.
Yes.
You're currently on 2 tours.
I am.
The No Hard Feelings tour, and of course the Dark Matter tour with Katt Williams.
Yes.
But before we get into all of the work that you're doing now, I need to know the beginning, because you started off as a class clown.
I did.
So go ahead
Right.
and take me back to your childhood and walk me through everything that got you to where you are now.
Well, first, you know, since I was 6 years old, I told my parents I was going to be in show business. And, you know, my parents are amazing. They're blue collar workers. So they looked at me like, yeah, okay, girl, whatever.
Right.
They had no clue about show business. I also come from the church. You know, my grandmother was a minister. You know, my aunts are ministers, uncles, pastors.
Baptist church?
Baptist. My
Come
grandmother
on.
started a church. So, you know, I come from that seed. You know, so I was raised in the church. I was doing church plays and always entertaining, and that was fun for me. You know, so that's like my foundation. Mom, dad still married, have a sister.
Wow.
And always just loved the arts. I was in theater arts in high school, theater arts in college, and you know, that's where the foundation started and me wanting to be in the entertainment industry pretty much.
Wow.
And then did get class clown in high school. And it's like, when it happened, I was like, okay. My mom like, so you want to be a clown? You know, I'm like, well, I'm always pulling pranks on people, always joking. So it's only right that they gave it to me. And I mean, I wasn't going to get, you know, academically.
Right.
Let's face it, okay? Academically, I wasn't getting nothing for academics, okay? Because I was too busy playing and being a clown. So
Right.
it's only right I got class clown.
Oh my gosh, isn't it beautiful to see though how those early beginnings kind of shape who you are?
Right,
Like
right.
you've always been that.
Right.
Just now in an amplified way.
Yes.
Now, did you ever have any thoughts of doing anything else? Like, you know, I'm gonna go be a teacher, or kind of, like, what was the initial, besides show business, if you were gonna go the way that your parents wanted you to?
Well, you know, I never really thought about doing anything else. I did sneak off to the Army for a
Okay.
little bit.
See?
You know what I mean?
That's a big one.
I was in the military, you know, but it was basically, I was like, I gotta figure out a way to get out of this town.
Right.
You know, and you know, find something to do, because, you know, my parents were always like, you have to do something.
This was in
You know?
Jersey.
Yeah, so I was born in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and then I moved to Jersey when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And so, you know, sitting there in Sicklerville, New Jersey is like, what am I gonna do? You know, I ended up moving back and of course going to community college.
Right.
But before I went to community college, I was like, I have to do something. So I ended up going down to the MEP station and speaking to, you know, the people down there about joining the Army. And I literally did not think that I was gonna get in. Ended up working for the phone company for a little bit, getting some coins, and then off to LA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moving to LA. Now, that within itself is a big deal, especially leaving the East Coast,
Right,
the tri-state area, Jersey, Philly, New York, all of that.
Right.
You know, to follow your dream.
Right.
So, is that what you went to LA for specifically, to pursue comedy?
Well, no. So first I went there with my ex-husband.
Right.
You know, it was my idea. I was like, we gotta go where the stars are at, you know? So
Because at this point, he was pursuing comedy too, or you
You're
guys
right.
both came to a
Right.
consensus, like, we gotta go to Hollywood to make this happen for us.
It was honestly, I was like champion
Right.
for LA. I was like, we gotta,
Like all women are.
Yeah,
Come
you know.
on.
I was like, we got it, because, you know, he was doing comedy in New York and we going back and forth to New York. But I was like, I just feel like LA is the move. You
Right.
know what I mean? So end up in LA, and I had never done stand-up before I got to LA. LA is where I started stand-up.
Right.
But I was always, acting and doing sketches and, really got started with doing sketches first.
Okay.
And that's how I had got a deal with All Def Digital, and then was booking national commercials, Toyota, AMC, Google at the time when it was first starting, And so, training with big acting coaches out in LA. And then one day, I just said, you know what? I've been studying comedy. I've been around it so long with him. I've been always interested in it. Would watch it all the time. My family is a family of comedians. And if you don't bring it in my family, you will get roasted. So on the spot. And so I always had to be quick with it.
Right.
And so I just was like, you know what? I'm passionate. I've been studying this, not even realizing that's what I was doing. Yeah.
Now, would you say that sketches and everything that you were doing prior to is kind of the foundation of being able to get on stage and do stand-up in that way? Because they are very different.
Right.
But I feel like having that background also gives you a leg up too.
You know what? It gives you some more courage. Because I feel like just getting on stage is all about courage.
Right.
You got to have that courage, you got to have the want, and understand the journey is not an easy journey. You're going to bomb.
Right.
And it's okay, because you should bomb, because those are the shows that make you better.
Right.
And those are the shows that let you know if you really want to really do this, because if it's too easy all the time, you're not gonna grow, So of course you don't wanna be bombing every night, just out there bombing. It's like, maybe that ain't for you, if you just constantly bombing. But if a good bombing never hurt nobody, because it always I haven't bombed, a lot, but I'm just saying the moments where I haven't had a great show, I'm just like, oh, I got to get back in the pen and they gonna get these jokes even better, and they, it makes you more inspired.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, during a relationship, what was it like being two entertainers in one house?
Oh,
and then that of the same kind.
We were funny. I mean, we was always joining on each other. We would have little rap battles. We was always, it was fun.
Okay.
It was fun moments. Sometimes, it was hard because, it was just like, well, who's the center of attention, or, what's happening here?
Right.
But for the most part, it was a good time.
Right.
It was fun.
And I feel like because you guys have come up together from young,
right,
there is an understanding too that when things do get rough, that there is still a grounding space where it's like, I know you for real. Yeah. And you know me for real.
Right, right.
So,
we family at the end of the day, and here's the thing too, people don't sometimes get, families go through stuff, regardless if it's a ex-wife, ex-husband relationship, sister-brother relationship, auntie, uncle, whatever. Your families go through stuff,
right,
and you'll have your ups and downs, but it's all about getting through it, because here's the thing, nobody's going anywhere.
Right.
There's gonna be grandkids, there'll be, great-grandkids, and then there's parties you gotta attend, and, weddings and anniversaries and all kinds of things. So it's just like, just be family and bring that peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's always gonna be a level of respect.
Right.
So when the outside world kind of tries to jump in, it's like, y'all don't know what's really happening.
Right.
Because like you said, it's family.
Yeah.
And family first.
Family first.
Right.
Right.
Now, who would you say is funnier, you or your ex-husband?
Girl, why you gonna do that?
Yeah, who's
You know
funnier?
what? Here's the thing.
Because I always go for the women, I'm sorry.
Okay, listen, this is, I feel like we both are great at what we do, so comedy's subjective.
Okay.
So let the audience decide.
Right.
I always say let the audience decide.
Of course.
And, but I know I'm very funny. I'm funny as hell.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, but we'll let the audience decide.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever have to give him pointers and him give you pointers as well too? Like, girl, I think you should have said it this way, or how about you try this?
Oh, I always was given input,
Okay.
like I enjoyed it. Like I told you, I was a student, and I was actually privileged to be able to watch his rise. Like I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know that God was setting me up,
And that's what that is.
It was because there's so many people who, they do their job, they study. You have to go to comedy clubs. You have to be in comedy clubs almost it's probably 7 days a week,
Yep.
you know, learning your craft, honing your craft, watching others, you know, seeing how people write, learning. So I was there doing all of that and not even understanding that that's what was going on. That's the beautiful thing about it. Like how they say God is a comedian. I'm gonna tell you that much, because he had set everything up that way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely was doing that and giving input and saying, you know what, I'm watching because I'm listening to the response of the crowd too, you know, and you have your people who does that. And so I'd be like, okay, I heard over here this or that, and you know, try it maybe this way, or give more energy here, or deliver it this way. So yeah, for sure.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's all an involvement in the work that you do too.
Right, yeah.
You're learning for yourself as you teach. In that space.
Yeah.
Now, are there ever any jokes that are off limits when it comes to your relationship too? My biggest fear is dating. First of all, I ain't dating no comedians, because y'all not about to get on stage and say nothing about me. But that is one of my biggest fears.
Right.
To hear anything personal
Right.
out on that stage.
Oh, I was the brunt of a lot of jokes.
Oh my gosh.
I
But you
was
got thick skin though, because
I have
like
very
you said,
thick skin, yeah. And I mean, and if it's funny, I'm like, man, whatever. And you know, at the time, it was man, go get that bag.
Right.
You know, if you need to use Torrei as the brunt of the joke, because I'm funny, I know I'm gonna bring it anyway, go get the bag.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get them back on stage later.
And I'm gonna get you back.
Right.
Yeah. That's just how it goes.
Of course. Now you have 2 teenagers.
I do. I do.
What is that like? The energy. I have a teenager that's
You have
under
a
my
teenager?
under my care. I am not a mom.
I was about to say, girl, when did
I'm
you
not a
have
mom.
this baby?
Right. I'm not a mom, but I have one under my care.
Okay.
Part-time. And she is a lot of energy as
Right.
far as teenage feelings. And I'm learning a lot just watching her move. And I'm just like, wait till you get older, girl. So
Right.
how is that for you? Because you have a boy and a girl, Heaven and
do.
Hendrix.
Yes. My babies. They're amazing.
Okay.
They're one of the dopest kids I have ever met. And I'm not just saying this because they're my kids.
Right.
But they're smart. They cute as I don't know what. I mean, their skin is beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, they're intelligent. They're you know, spiritual beings. They understand. They're humble. You know, they have like Heaven's heart. I mean, I literally named her Heaven because I always wanted her to achieve to be the Most High.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I couldn't say that she's definitely lived up to her name. And my son, Hendrix, he is just the most caring kid. Like, I can't, I'll be speechless when I talk about my babies.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, like I've been tearing up. Like don't, I really have some amazing kids.
Yeah.
I really do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Are they funny at all?
My daughter is very funny. My son is funny, but my daughter, she is more so, she puts it out there. He more chilled and laid back.
Right.
But she be getting me all the time. I be like, damn, I can't win. I can't beat her because she quit because they smart.
Oh
you
my
know, like I
gosh.
dropped out of community college.
Right.
They went to private school their whole life. So their level of smart is a little different.
It's like they in college now.
Right. Yeah, they've been in college since 2nd grade.
Right.
You know, so their intellect, they quit. They quit.
Now, there's a lot happening. You're on tour. 2 tours.
Yes.
No Hard Feelings, which I
Yes.
love the name.
Thank you.
I'm sure, is that you? Did you come up with this?
No Heart, me and my mate actually did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. So,
Yeah.
mate, because you're dating.
I am. But we ain't talking about that.
Okay. I like that.
You know, that's my little young thing. My Tinder.
No
Yeah.
Hard Feelings.
No hard feelings.
Now, I do want to talk about your set, because I saw a friend went to your show and they said you killed it. It was amazing.
Oh,
This
nice.
happened in New York.
Okay.
Over at City Winery. So, what is your set like when you get on that stage? Are you freestyling everything? Do you have your script ready? Do you test new things out on stage? What is that like?
I am definitely a person that tests new things out.
Okay.
And a lot of people say, you should not do that. But I'm like, man, whatever. I definitely test things out all the time. I tried several new jokes last night at the winery.
Okay.
And when I did comedy in Harlem, I tried out several new jokes. And they hit. So I was like, either they going to hit or they're not.
Right.
And if they don't, okay, let me go back and revamp it. That's going to help me revamp it. But even if they do hit, I'm like, okay, it's noted in my mental. I'm like, that works. So now I'm gonna go and enhance it even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I definitely, I do have a script as well, but all of my scripts have come from me just going on stage and just freestyling first. And whatever works, I'll keep.
Okay.
And if it doesn't work, like I said, I'll try it a few more times. And if it's just a dud, okay, it's a dud. Get rid of it.
And you'll add new things in as you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the Katt Williams Dark Matter tour.
Right.
A lot of people assume that this just magically happened right after the interview done happened when you was already booked and busy.
Right. Yeah, let me, hey, Katt.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
No, so, and a lot of people don't know me and Katt have history.
Yes.
You know, we do have history. That's
Absolutely.
like, you know, that's my dog.
You've shared stages with so many amazing comedians. Martin Lawrence, Katt Williams, of course, and that's why he trusted you to put you on this. Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
Of course.
Yes.
So, of course, that's why he trusted to put you on this tour. Just the news and the way it broke out after Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, he killed that interview.
Did you watch the whole movie?
I did. Big ups to Katt.
Of course.
Yeah.
He started the year off something special.
And he got comedy like, we having beefs now.
Right.
Like, we need good comedy beef.
Exactly.
You know, rappers always having beef. No, we coming in with the beef, man. So.
And forcing each other to step it up.
Level it up. And that's how I look at it. I'm like, level up. You know, if somebody's forcing you to level up, then take that challenge and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you know Katt Williams to be exactly how he was on Club Shay Shay? To be that way all the time? Like when you watch, you were like, yeah, I ain't surprised. Of course he's gonna air it out.
You know, he's always been honest. He's always spoke his mind, you know, and like I said, I'm not with him every day.
Right.
So I don't know his ins and outs every single day, but when I do get a chance to hang out with him and be in his presence, that's pretty much how he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping it 100. That's that Virgo energy.
Yeah, he's big Virgo.
I'm a Virgo.
Okay. And you know, Pisces, we like opposites, so I get along very well with Virgos.
Yes, I know. The Pisces women, yes.
Yes,
I get along with. Back to Club Shay Shay. You watched the interview. Of course, when Katt mentions Kevin, what were your initial thoughts? Did you think like, for me personally, I didn't think it was a major blow.
Right.
And of course, this is someone that you're gonna be on tour with. Did you feel like you had to explain this to Kevin in some conversation, like, hey, this is what I'm about to do? Or is it kind of just like, y'all are men?
I actually did call him and let him know, out of respect.
Yes.
Yeah, out of respect for the family.
Okay.
You know, because there are children involved as well.
See?
And like I said, I'm not out here to be, you know, messy at all. I'm not a messy person. I actually don't like it. I don't get involved with a lot of drama and gossip and stuff, you know, so I did call and let him know, listen, I'm going on tour, just wanted to give you a heads up, just so you know.
Right.
And that was the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, when paparazzi stops him, he's excited for you, as he should be.
Right. Yeah, I'm funny.
Right.
Like, let me get my bag. It's no issue. Let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the media kind of tries to get in the way in that space and go on with their own narrative, how does that affect the household?
It has definitely sometimes put, you know, dents in the household because it's like, you know, we were all just together for Christmas.
Right.
And, you know, enjoying our turkey and, you know, our seafood boil and stuff. And, you know, then certain things like this happens and it's just like, dag, okay. It does put a dent in it a little bit to now, okay, we gotta fight it again, you know? And there's certain energies and, you know, people have feelings and sometimes they may feel a certain type of way.
Right.
But like I said, we're family, you know, we're always gonna be family. So this is just another hurdle that we'll get over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And another hurdle that makes you stronger as a family too.
And it just, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, it's like, are we gonna harbor feelings or are we gonna keep it moving? And I personally, I always keep it moving. I've been keeping it moving now for about 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always keep it moving.
Exactly. Now you preaching like your family was.
I come from it. Yeah, I mean, that's why I said that's another thing. I was born, you know, into it, and I got a praying family. And my family, from my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my sister, my mama, my dad, you know, my extended family that along the way that comes from outside, you know, I have some people that's really rallying behind me.
The warriors are in place.
Yes. Rebel T, that's my alter ego. When I need to bring Rebel T out, Rebel T comes out.
Right.
And she don't play. She just be like, like, who want next?
Come on.
But she coming with that, you know that. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love it, Rebel T.
Rebel T.
Now, your space as a comedian, as a woman, a Black woman at that, what do you feel like you're receiving from others now? Like, do you feel like you're being embraced the way that you should be? Do you feel like you're, you know, moving in God's time? How do you feel in the space that you're in now?
So right now, I definitely feel like, you know, some people are 100% champion behind me. And then there are some people who are, you know, they still like, well, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to know.
Right.
You know, I know what God speaks to me. I know what my purpose is.
Right.
I know everything he has spoken to me. So I'm going to keep moving in that, you know? And for the people who are like this, I see. And for the people who I see are tiptoeing, I see that too.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
I see it all.
You see it all.
I see it all. And I feel it all. Yeah.
Now, being on tour, you're moving around a lot. Where are the kids at? What are the kids doing? How are you managing things? I know people always ask the women, how do you manage being a mom and working, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like, you know, the mom is the maternal one who like really keeps everything together. So rightfully so.
Right.
So how is it moving around the way that you have been as of late?
I'll be honest. So that's why I took a lot of time off in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I felt guilty. You know, I didn't feel like I was ready to be away from my children. So I had to take time off. I took like 5 years off.
Wow.
And just was on my mommy. I was soccer mom, baseball mom. My son tried basketball for a little bit, ballet, you know, so I was enjoying doing that.
Okay.
And then one day I was just like, you know what, it's time. I feel like they're at an age now where at least I could do like local shows and also, you know, move around to like maybe one city for a day or two and then come back, you know? And now, at the age that they're at, they're 18, so she's grown.
Yeah.
I know she little, but she grown.
Yeah.
And then my son, he's 16, so, you know, he's practically grown. His mindset is very mature. So they're very understanding, and I did talk to them, and they're like, Mom, it's your time. Do what you need to do. We support you 100%.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you're living in your glory.
I am. I got my son, I got my daughter, you know, they are great. They're excellent kids. They stay out of trouble.
Right.
Getting my daughter, you know, she graduated salutatorian. My son is getting good grades. Thank you. He's a track star. And, you know, they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're living the happiest moment of your life right now? That's what I'm getting.
I am. I'm really happy. I did a lot of healing.
Yeah.
I did the work to heal.
Therapy?
Therapy.
Come
I did
on.
therapy. Iyanla Vanzant was my therapist.
No way.
Yes.
In real life?
In real life.
Is she like that on TV?
She's
like, is she the same?
amazing. I mean, she's not on my watch.
That is my clip right there.
Yeah. She's not, you know, like that Iyanla all the time.
She ain't yelling in your face?
No, she ain't yell at me, but she, you know, she did, you know, she bucked up on me a little bit, like, get it together.
Right.
You know, and I was like, all right, Miss Van Zandt, like, give me
For
some
her to
time.
be your therapist is so crazy to me. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So,
You did the work.
and I mean, she gave me some jewels that I have for life. I mean, my mom, okay? I have, like I told you, my family is some strong women. So my mom has poured so much into me. My sister is just amazing. She's a journalist and, you know, political science major.
wow.
So her brain is just like top tier, you know, and how she speaks to me and pours power and life into me. Yeah, I did a lot. And even on my own, just, you know, praying every day. That I did fast. I did cleanses.
Yeah.
You know, I did a Ramadan fast one year. I'm not Muslim, but I was like, I looked at it like, if it can make me a better person, why not try it?
Right.
And when I did it, I came out like even more connected to God, you know? So you have to do the work, because if not, I could have stayed, you know, like in the rut, feeling bitter and angry at everybody. But no, I'm doing the work to be better.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that. I got one life.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love this. What else do we have in store for what you're going to bring to the table?
So just, you know, my movies that are on television right now. I'm also, a lot of people don't know, I produce. I actually am a producer who has projects on television that I've done independently with my partner, Man Robinson, Man Robinson Studios out of Atlanta. That's what we do. Super Turn, Sebastian.
Yep.
We're about to actually this month film the trilogy to the Turn franchise. And that starts filming February 20th.
Oh,
and
wow.
then, you know, that's it for that franchise. I can't announce it yet, but it's like
Something special coming?
it's 3 special things that are about to happen.
Okay.
So, and it's going to be coming in about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6 months from now, when that does happen, you
Yes.
know you're gonna have to come back.
I will come back. Yeah.
Torrei the Tongue, Rebel T, Torrei Hart, no hard feelings.
No hard feelings.
Thank you so much for
Get
being
up out
here.
your feelings.
There we go.
Come
That's
on,
the
people.
impersonation.
Get up out your feelings.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
keep moving forward.
That part.
Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to have you again.
Yes.
And yeah, keep doing the damn thing, girl.
Thank you, and you too, and congratulations on everything you got going on. Keep pushing forward. Okay, I support you 100%
Thank you.
because women, we need to support one another. And
Absolutely.
that's the bottom line, period. So I'm a girl's girl.
Yep, me
Yeah.
too. And that's exactly why I'm so happy we got to have this
Yes.
conversation, because you've been doing it.
Yeah.
She's been doing it, okay? Yeah, remember that. BT Talks.